I did my presentation over Rutherford B. Hayes. He serves his party best, who serves his country best. Rutherford Bircher Hayes, inaugural address, 1877. Rutherford Bircher Hayes was born on October 4th, 1822. His father was Rutherford Hayes and his mother was Sophia Birchard. His parents also had a daughter whose name was Fanny Birchard. His father died 2 months after they had moved to Ohio from Vermont. After his father died, he and his sister were raised by his mother and her brother Sardis Birchard. Sardis was a rather successful businessman in Lower Sandusky, Ohio, later called Fremont. In high school, Rutherford graduated as valedictorian and went on to Harvard Law School, where he graduated and became a very successful lawyer. In 1852, he married his wife, Lucy Ware Webb. Lucy was the first president's wife to be called the First Lady, and she was also the first wife to graduate from college. Altogether, they had 8 children. When the Civil War started, Hayes wanted to help the state of Ohio, so Governor William Dennison appointed Hayes major of the 23rd Ohio Volunteer Infantry. He saw much service, and his most significant battle was the Battle of South Mountain in Maryland, where under the command of George McClellan, he was wounded severely but won the battle. In that picture, you can see where the two forces collided on South Mountain, where Lee and Hardstreet went against Burnside and Franklin. While in the war, he was nominated for a spot on the House of Representatives by Cincinnati, but he said he would not take his spot on Congress until the Union had won the war. After the war, Hayes joined the Congress like he said he would, and he served 3 successful terms in office. After his 3rd term, his fellow congressmen nominated Hayes for the Republican candidate in the 1876 election. Little did he know that this election was going to be one of the most tumultuous in U.S. history. His opponent was Samuel J. Tilden, the governor of New York, who had acquired more than 252,590 more votes than Hayes. Altogether, they had over almost 5 million votes. In that picture, you can see where the 2 votes were split up, where Rutherford got a lot of the northern votes and the West Coast votes, while Samuel J. Tilden got a lot of the southern votes. But there were still the electoral votes to be accounted for. Tilden needed one of any of the 20 contested votes from South Carolina, Florida, and Louisiana, while Hayes needed all 20 of those contested votes. Hayes miraculously won, though, because the Congress had created an electoral commission for the election. This is the only electoral commission ever created for an election for a president. This gave Hayes all the 20 votes he needed for winning. Hayes had to secretly swear his oath in the Red Room of the White House because he had caused an uproar with the Democrats and the people. He was also the first president to take his oath there, and that's just a picture of his little commemoration for his inaugural address. It was clear that the nation was getting tired of Reconstruction when Hayes was elected, so his first act of presidency was to end Reconstruction. He would do this by fulfilling many promises he had made, like he was supposed to put a Democrat in his cabinet, so he put a Democrat in a position of federal patronage. Next, he worked to protect the rights of Southern African Americans, and as much as he had tried, the Congress was less willing to do so. His 3rd thing was for him to remove the last few militias in southern states. When he had finally removed those militias from the southern states, he successfully ended Reconstruction. While in office, Hayes did many things like pushing money policies to create sound businesses and strong industries. He also signed a bill that for the first time let women present cases in front of the U.S. Supreme Court. He was also the first president to do many things, like go to the West Coast, get the telephone and the typewriter. He was also the president that was the first to hold the Easter egg roll for children outside of the White House. This is a celebration thing that happens every Monday after Easter, and it was started by him and his wife. They even banned alcohol in the White House because his wife was trying to start some women's thing inside the White House. And when it came time for his next election, he would not run because when he was elected for the first time, he promised that he would not run again to avoid another tumultuous election. This didn't stop him from helping people, though. As he retired, he still worked for the nation. He continued to try and help the poor, minorities, and immigrants. He also worked to help veterans keep their pensions. He also promoted universal education for children, and he tried to improve prison conditions. He would retire to Fremont, Ohio, previously Sandusky, and his estate to Spiegel Grove, where he lived until he died on January 17th, 1893. He was 70 years old, and that's a picture of what Spiegel Grove actually looks like. And that's my sources where my information was found.